city. And we really pushed it hard down. It took 3-4 years, and Mera would remember we have Susan Khandekar here as well. We really went from place to place, harping on this within our own city to say, hey guys, we can do it together. Then we had people teaching in 4 or 5 major colleges, our managers, DSP, because we decided to make a niche area. We set up DSP labs in the city. And the whole idea was to get a movement of a high-tech entrepreneurial city in software. That was the image that we wanted to cultivate. And it did happen. I mean, for that we wrote the policy for the state of Maharashtra, which wasn't there. In 98, the policy came out. We had infrastructure. Rajiv Gandhi Park came up. Satish Magar and his architect, we sent them as a part of software delegation to San Jose to understand how to set up an integrated setup. So he came back all charged up, and then he set up wonderful Magar. And so we had manpower, we had government policy, we had infrastructure, and then we decided all these 3, marketing is easy because people then know that we're coming. And so MCCI was a wonderful platform from where we really sent out this strong message to any. We made a lot of counselors from the embassies and things, and kept on harping that this is the city to come to. And city has this in them, and now we are 6 billion plus from 30 million.
Right.
So
they were 30 million in 1996. We were Pune was, and today it's 6 billion plus. Amazing, amazing. I think that also needs a round of applause. So in 2000, you moved on and founded a company for creating IP and softwares for this multimedia domain and videos on mobile wireless technology. And 2000 was a dreadful year for a lot of entrepreneurs because for the software burst and all. And you got a venture capital funding of £2 million in the same year for the IP idea that you had. How did that happen?
In Cirrus Logic, we were doing this work for development. We also were doing, again, very pioneering work for parallel processing, a very massively parallel processing. And the key compute element of that was a RISC plus DSP combination. RISC processor plus DSP. RISC would do all the linear activity, and crunching would happen in the DSP. Multiple such units in parallel was the chip design. So it kind of thought kept on working in my mind that if you pick up just one unit, compute unit, RISC plus DSP, put it in a mobile phone, then the mobile phone should also be able to do the entire multimedia work, particularly the video work, which at that time was almost a sacrilege to think that video can happen on a mobile phone. So it kept on working, and we said, right, let's go around and find out. So I had a cousin of mine who was Oxford educated, Accenture in CR. So we decided him to be the CEO. Then we had a CFO who came from Dublin, and myself, we said, okay, I'll go back in developmental work. So 3 of us went around. We had no company. We just went around the VCs, particularly in Europe and Ireland, because US was not very keen on video at that time on mobile, because it was quite happy chatting on phone, that's all. So we got funding, $2 million or £2 million from an Irish investor. He was actually not, he was an angel in the true sense, because he was not really a tech person. He was a real estate developer. In fact, he's the one who set up the entire Irish economy that time when they joined the EU. So he just said, well, I like you people, or conviction, and okay, here you are, £2 million and see what you can do with that. The reason we wanted to do that also was the fact, again, and that's, I do feel it's a game changer, that why should people go from here all the way to Silicon Valley, leaving their families behind here, and living in Vruddhashrams, and not just stay here, be happy with the family, all the cultural activities we have. In fact, We have so many festivals, and it really keeps us going. And do the developmental work here, which is possible to be done there. So we really decided that yes, we will have a very mercurial unit here of young people, all of them, majority of them, they're really B.Techs, and do the development here. And that was one of our really key requirements to prove a point. You don't need to go to Silicon Valley to be a good developer or create IP. In fact, everyone used to laugh when you said IP, okay. They said, all right, show us when you actually sell the IP. IP can be created, but you can't sell. So, we had a lot of taunts, but we had 8 US patents, we had 35 people. And we did a lot of work on video. We did the first software camcorder on a Samsung phone back in 2004. And that's how we got our NASCOM Innovation Award in 2005. So I wanted to read it, I stopped you, sorry for that, the other book. I used to call them my Navy SEALs. Being in the Navy, I'm very proud. Now everyone understands a Navy SEAL because of Osama bin Laden and everything else. But we have grown up with the Navy SEALs, and we used to be very jealous because Navy SEALs were considered as extraordinary ulterior human being, and the girls would just fall for them all. So other Navy guys were, swept aside. The Navy SEAL always took the best of the breed. So, but there's a fantastic book on the training of the Navy SEALs, and it was called The Silent Warrior, or Warrior Elite, one of the two. Anyone who takes hold of it, read through that. It really will make you understand what it takes to be a Navy SEAL. And I'll read out to you a little small para on that. What does it take to become a Navy SEAL? What makes talented, intelligent young men volunteer for extreme physical punishment, cold water, and days without sleep? SEAL training is the process that transforms young men into warriors. It's the distillation of the human spirit, a tradition-bound ordeal that seeks to find men with character, courage, and above all, the burning passion to win at all costs, men who would rather die than quit. And I used to religiously read this every year to my 35 people. And I always used to say, they are my SEALs. Except the last line, I didn't want them to die. I just wanted them to succeed. And they did. And this is why I'm saying those 35 people. And I used to call them always 1 equal to 10. And now they have proved to be 1 equal to 30 actually. So, and they're all people like you, like everyone else. They're not coming from outer space in Mars or anything. All it means, you trust them. And this is the lesson perhaps for the young entrepreneurs as well. Your team, you trust them. And you can trust them provided you have trust in yourself. The reason why people tend to hold back is because you are not confident of yourself. You have an inferiority complex that if I trust him too much, he will betray me or whatever things will happen. So I think you have to have that total confidence in yourself that yes, I know what I am. And then you trust your people completely, and yet, as I said, empowerment, but no abdication. You hold still the last can, if it's required to take it.
That's how Anand probably mentors the companies that he's been involved in. And I think since late 90s, while he was at Cirrus Logic and his founded startup, he was mentoring a lot of companies, and KPIT, Cummins, Veritas, Compulink, a lot of them he was on board of directors. I think a lot of us here would like to know, Anand, since you've seen them when they were very small, now they've become a little more bigger giants. Any one or couple of them, some part of their journey, how they became big, some traits.
One of them is here.
Yes, Vishwas is here. Yes.
Yeah.
Any traits that you saw, anything that actually you can share and say, this is why some companies become big in 10 years, 12 years, and...
Yeah, I don't know, we're running time, so I'll quickly read out these aspects. I found that there was an excellent management team which was fully committed. They had a very strong emphasis on training. I really tell you all, the training is an absolutely essential thing, not just for armed forces, but even for any software company. Very, very essential. And you should really have an R&D budget, and I used to insist on that when I was on board, that I would like to see a special head for training to know really how much of money is being spent on training. And companies spend 0.0005% of their revenue on training, which is ridiculous. And training doesn't include only professional, training also includes managerial. We in Motorola had introduced this concept of outward bound management development program, even for boys and girls all together. They would go like a marine boot camp for about 4 days, live in tents, do rock climbing and a whole lot of stuff. And now we've got a wonderful center here in Tamini Ghat. Vasant Limed runs there. And that's a tremendous amount of team building spirit, adventurous spirit. We had to do that in Motorola because we found that we had a lot of success there all the time. So how do we judge people when there's adversity? So we use the training, this kind of training, to simulate adversity, to simulate fear in the minds of the people. And then we would judge how they react to that fear, how do they react to that adversity. And it was not a surreptitious exercise. We used to meet for the campfire at the end of it and share the feelings. Everyone would die. And that created a huge bond because they were sharing it with their so-called competitors, because all the managers were all together. And that gave them the confidence, hey, I can share my weaknesses with anyone along. And you can imagine the kind of team spirit it builds together, that I can share my weaknesses with my friends or with my colleagues, with my competitors. So I think that training is crucial, and all these people followed that. They had a very focused approach in technology, and they had a very strong quality process. So these four, I felt that very common attributes.
Oh, thank you so much. Since he's been a mentor for so many of them, and for us who are present in this room, can you tell us very briefly about the importance of mentor for a startup, and why every one of us present here should go out of this room and start looking for one right from day one? Because
actually, when you presented about Clarion, one slide, what the Clarion does, and I think that was a very good slide, I thought. It had about 10 points, which it was really a mentorship perspective, and they were in addition, of course, giving the funds as well. But I think that was very good. But if you think that you need a father figure, particularly at a young age, a few gray hair with experience just add a little bit of value. You need someone who has a long-term vision for both business as well as for technology. Technology roadmap is very, very crucial. You require interventions in HR because, again, by virtue of just sheer having spent many years with the people, you are able to handle that very effectively. And most important, of course, a mentor can have a very strong network, which allows him to connect up the new startup with a set of friends that, and then mentor brings his credibility to the unit, the startup.
I wanted to ask a lot more questions, and I have a huge list, but I think it will be unfair for you to sit here and just wait for me to finish up. So I'll open this forum for you to ask questions. And Anand,
yeah, right. One thing to mention for you, that is, we talked about those 4 attributes and the equations.